You are watching Anachronology.
All right, so we had a lot of fun. We got through science, category 1, 2003. Next up is a fun one, which is tabloids. What are tabloids? What aren't tabloids? Tabloids is just all the shit talk that goes on, all the newspaper tabloid articles that are just hanging out there in the grocery store. They're the TMZ articles, you name it. It's just all the tea, as people say it, talking about what somebody's business is. But usually it's attacking all the famous people in the world because they're an easy target and we're always prying in on their lives. And why the hell not?
I think we said last time we had this category, Tom, that like tabloids, before there was like the internet, you would have to, instead of seeing like a social media post, all of your, like you said, spilling the tea, all of the drama you would have to go to a tabloid to find the drama. You could not just open up an app. You actually had to go to a grocery store and go get in that line and pick up your favorite rag.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that was it. And then that is just, I guess, since translated over to, every single website. Like I mentioned, TMZ. I mean, people have full on shows where they talk about this stuff, us included. But I do think that it's good old fashioned fun to talk about the rich and famous and all their failures and the weird shit that they do. So that's kind of what tabloids are.
And in fairness to us, we are not actively gossiping. We are going over the gossip that already happened.
Yeah. That's so true. That's well put. Hey, listen, all our job is as anachronauts is to merely go through history and archive it. That's all we're doing. This has already happened. So I'm not making this shit up. I am merely reciting it.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2003, first off, in tabloids, we would be remiss if we did not talk about the sensation that was Bennifer. I mean, you could not go anywhere when you didn't hear the word Bennifer. The combining of the two names, Ben and Jennifer, that being Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, and their kind of sexy romp that they had for a few years. And obviously, I mean, I was tired of it the minute it came out, but I mean, just look at Ben Affleck. He just looks like such a scumbag in that one picture. I'm sorry. Got the cigarette, got the Boston Proud wearing the fucking Sox hat.
Okay, all right, they did.
Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to remember what year they came out, but they got at least 2 movies out of this relationship together, right? Jersey Girl with what's his name? Kevin Smith directed, where she's only in it for like the opening part, and then Gigli, right?
Gigli did come out in 2003. So
okay.
I think Gigli was basically the foreplay of this relationship. Okay. They were just like, hey, acting is reality. I'm falling in love with you.
Pay us.
Pay us basically. And then an unlikely duo gets together and they were just absolute magazine fodder on every cover of every magazine. Their pictures are plastered all over the internet. And obviously I don't know what they're like age difference is. I think they're probably around the same age, if not one is older than the other, but they were kind of both coming up in their careers. Obviously, Ben Affleck was kind of riding this high.
Armageddon, off Good Will Hunting, obviously.
Yeah, I think he was definitely kind of trying to break off as his own man. He did definitely not do that with Gigli. That was terrible. And then she was obviously the double duty pop star, and then also jumping in as an actress. So she was really kind of the double threat, probably the more talented of the two, to be honest with you.
I do like her in Out of Sight.
She's great in that.
I like her in that. Out of Sight, she's good in that.
Yeah, and wasn't that kind of one of her first big ones, Out of Sight?
Aside from Selena, I remember but Selena is like 90 something.
Forgot about Selena, exactly. But yeah, and obviously, I guess the big news in 2003 was they had postponed their wedding. They were supposed to get married. They called off, I guess, the engagement completely. And I guess, sadly, we saw kind of the end of Bennifer. And then the end of Bennifer led to many, many years of sad Ben Affleck memes. Honestly, this was the gift that keeps on giving. It doesn't get better than this image. I think this is probably the most used image of all time of just, I've had enough, like it just speaks so many words.
That's such a good image. Like, I don't care who you are, even if you don't smoke, you have felt like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is something has happened to you. You're like, oh yeah, fucking god damn it!
It's
like,
so good.
It's visceral.
It is visceral, and I gotta say, myself and you both being from New England and Ben Affleck being from, the New England area, that is a very classic New England look. You,
Oh yeah.
you just look fed up with life. And usually in this situation, it's snowing and gross out. It's just a gross place to be in the wintertime. That cigarette is the only good thing you got going on right now in your life. And that's the look you have right fucking there.
And you're stealing yourself so then you can turn on the happy face before you
Yeah.
go back inside.
Yeah. This is every cigarette work break that you have, like when you have like your earlier jobs in your life. You're just like, give me the strength, God, to go back in and not murder everybody in this fucking building.
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah. But this was him for a long time, for a
Well,
very, very long time. But eventually he got what he needed and he got back with that ass because that's all he ever wanted. And I knew, and years passed, they came back together and I can't blame him. I mean, he's a happy man. Once again, he's got that booty. That's all he ever wanted. That's what we needed to change sad Fleck back into happy Fleck, was give him that ass.
dude, he is
Look at him.
he's like the look on his face while he's touching her ass, dude. He's like he looks like he's
Marveling
having
at it.
yeah, he looks like he's having like not just like having a good time, like he is almost like religious experiencing.
Yeah.
He's like
He's
he is like
figuring out all the terrible things he's going to do to this thing.
yeah,
He
he's like
is plotting.
he is praying to the altar of J-Lo's butt.
Yeah, which I feel many of us would. So,
I can't blame him.
I
can't
guess
blame
this
the guy.
has a happy ending for Bennifer. They end up getting together. Spoiler alert, later on down the years, but they were the hot topic in 2003. Moving on, I guess you could call this a hot topic. Well, definitely a hot mugshot. Ugh. Yeah, this was a big one. Michael Jackson was charged with 7 counts of child molestation, stemming from allegations that he had abused a young cancer patient. That's the fucking zinger, dude. That one always stung. Like, ooh, Michael.
Man,
Rough time for Michael Jackson.
one of the like the well, none of that shit's fucking making a lot of sense. I mean, that dude was a multimillionaire. He had a full amusement park. He had
Neverland
he had a
Ranch. Come on.
chimpanzee. Like there was definitely. I mean, as much as he was the king of the pop, I mean, he was also like the king of having a screw loose. And there's
Absolutely.
definitely like who the fuck knows what the hell went on in Neverland. But when he passed away, when they did like the inventory of all the stuff in his house,
Yeah,
they're-
Creep
they're-
City.
they're- all I'm saying is the materials that were, I guess, categorized or cataloged, not looking good for the accusations against Michael. But then at the same time, too, it's like didn't like Macaulay Culkin say like he never did anything? Yeah, right. So it's like,
And the thing about this guy, he was so publicly in the limelight, always with kids. It was always with children. And it gave off a weird vibe, even to anybody back then. But it was one of those just kind of like, elephant in the room, nobody wanted to talk about it, but there was a weird vibe to it. And I think he had a very like the childlike essence. He's Peter Pan and come and never grow up and stay in my amusement park house. But like we never thought that like something completely nefarious was happening under that. And then, oh, shocker, it was. And then it just flipped the script. And then it was absolute fire and brimstone for him pretty much right up till he died. And when he died a really sad, just depressing death. I mean, the dude died of a drug overdose.
Cat Williams has I can't remember what stand-up special it is of his, but he's got a great line or joke where he says, he's like, I don't sleep in silk sheets, but bitches like silk sheets. He's like, I don't drink rosé. He's like, but bitches like rosé. He's like, you want to have silk sheets and rosé at my house? Like, I'm trying to fuck bitches. Like, what's Michael Jackson got at his house? It's like, he's got a Ferris wheel. He's got a Ferris wheel. It's like, what do you think he's trying to do? It's like,
yeah, you talk about the breadcrumbs, and that's
like,
just what it is. And I just like, I mean, look at that kid in the picture. Even he's just like, what the hell is going on, dude? And this other kid on the right looks probably sedated. That's post Jesus juice or something. That's creepy.
That's not Blanket, is it? That's not Blanket. That's just some random. Is that just a cloned baby that he is? That just a 2003?
There you go. Yeah,
baby?
that's one of the 2003 clones. He pre-ordered a few of those. Let's see on the list here. I got a Macaulay Culkin. I got an Elijah Wood. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to push those through. These are for Michael Jackson.
I'm gonna need another one. I'm gonna need another one.
Michael, we can't keep burying these dead boy clones here.
No,
They're
I'm
gonna
gonna make
find
the
them under the
Lost
Ferris
Boys.
wheel, Michael.
No, I'm gonna make it Leverland Ranch Lost Boys. Just make me another one.
Yeah, and again, you just see kind of the evolution of this guy, and then here he was on the stand. Oh, just looking absolutely like a big bag of shit. Oh, this poor guy, his nose, his whole face at that point is
I think he said too. I think I can't remember. There's like
Mm.
I believe there's an interview where he's like, "No, I never had a nose job. I've never had any plastic surgery."
Yeah, okay.
It's like, Michael, dude, it's falling off your face, dude.
Yeah, it's held on with tape, Michael. Like you can't lie anymore. That was the big like breaking news of that year, and obviously it did. It led to a trial. It was nasty. I mean, it really turned nasty for him. I don't know what the outcomes of a lot of like the litigation was, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure people got a lot of money out of him. I'm sure there were lawsuits.
He
I
looking
guess
like
maybe he's lucky he passed. Like he didn't have to like live to see the end of it.
he looking like the orang pendek right there, man.
Yeah.
That's what he's looking at. That's
Yeah,
real.
this should have been on our cryptozoology
Yeah,
page.
right.
Like, I've seen that before. I've seen that in the woods in Georgia somewhere. Hangs
Orang
out there.
pendek.
Next up, I guess moving on to something not as terrible. Who
Oh, yeah.
could forget this classic insane couch jumping moment with Tom Cruise on the Oprah Winfrey show?
So good that before it was like jumping the shark, that was synonymous with, something, not being good anymore, like jumping the shark. Happy Days, when Fonzie jumps the shark, and then it became like he was still the Tom Cruise of as popular as he is today. He was just as popular in the late 90s, early 2000s, but this was his jumping the couch moment where everyone was like, what the hell is going on with him? Like, no normal person does that. And he lost his fucking mind on Oprah Winfrey for
I
Katie Holmes.
agree.
Yeah?
For Katie Holmes. Yeah, exactly. This was him just being so excited that he was dating his soon to be wife, Katie Holmes. Maybe she was his wife at that time. I think they were actually young in love, but obviously, flash forward, spoiler alert, that ended terribly. And obviously, I think she got really creeped out with his weird, zany Scientology shit. But that was a moment that was a little peek behind the curtain. Like, what's going on here, dude? Like, it was like almost like a weird cry for help, but just like it showed a different side of him that I think made people dig deeper and be like,
that's what I remember. I remember everyone being like, what the hell is he on? Because he was he divorced Nicole Kidman, and there was like a big like, oh my god, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise are broken up. Oh no, we have to talk about this. And then he gets on the couch with Oprah, and everyone wasn't like, oh good, he's in love with her. They're like, what the fuck was that? Did you see him lose his mind?
Yeah. It was bananas. Let's see if I can get it up. AI producer has actually, I think, either the clip or something that spawned from that clip, because that's the one thing that it did really well too, is it gave us so many incredible early internet videos.
I mean, yeah, right. YouTube.
Let's see. This one might be the original one.
Oh, what do we got? Oh, you get Tom Cruise, and you get Tom Cruise. Nothing but women in that. In that audience, of course.
There's one guy way back there.
I came with my sister. I called off work for this.
Look at him. He's already grabbing her by the shoulders. His energy. He's giving off a vibe already. Yeah.
It's too much. I'm losing my mind on this couch.
Here it comes.
Was that the best fun? Was that? Yes.
Okay.
What has happened to you?
You know what? He's giving cokehead energy right now. He's just he's either zooted up or he's on something, man. Maybe he was on some drugs. Look at him. Whoa.
No, I don't think he takes any drugs.
He's high on Katie Holmes drugs.
He's I think he says the human body doesn't need them.
I'm in love.
Now get to the jump. Where are you?
Where's the jump, dude?
Oprah knew what she was doing. Because he doesn't know what he's doing. He won't let go of her hand.
You're hurting me.
Tom, please. Why does he keep doing like the Elvis at Vegas residency collapse?
Freaking weird. There it is. Wow. So obviously that happened, and I mean, in a world that this was obviously very early YouTube and internet videos, and obviously it spawned amazing things like this.
Nice.
This one's great.
Nice. This is brilliant.
God.
If you're only listening, it is Tom Cruise using Dark Sith Fourth energy to electrocute Oprah over and over again. It's fantastic.
And that's probably the best use of that clip I've ever seen. Way to go on that. But yeah, again, there's some strange energy brewing there with Tom Cruise. I feel like I think Tom Cruise is always silently screaming inside. Like he has that look, like he's always very put together, and even interviews, he just keeps it very tight. And that's probably the Scientology training that he gets. But I think it's a carnival of crazy in there, man. It's nuts.
Dude, he was in rare form on Oprah. That's for damn sure. Rare form. You're hurting me, Tom.
Yeah, dude. Like you're going out of your damn mind, bro. But yeah, he loved Katie Holmes. I guess one would do that. She was very attractive, so I can understand.
That's what he calls it.
Moving on, another big tabloid to talk about moment of 2003 was, of course, the reality show The Simple Life premiered. That was, of course, starring Paris Hilton and her buddy Nicole Richie. There they are in all their glory. I guess this is the show that begs the question, hey, we don't have to DJ for cocaine anymore. We can just make a TV show and get paid for our cocaine. And that's kind of what that show was. I really didn't get that show. It was like, just like, it was obviously fish out of water, but it was just like these two stupid, rich, Los Angeles broads going to these redneck towns and doing all this shit. It was very popular. I think it was on for like 2 seasons.
So the only thing that I remember from the Simple Life, right? The Simple Life?
The Simple Life, yeah.
I remember they went to some whatever state that is, not very big in town, doesn't have a big population, but the big year they would have the fair. Like there was a fair that would come through. That was the big to do. And they had a kissing booth. And so, of course, all these
the producers were loving that.
Oh yeah, the producers were loving lining them up. And one of them, I can't remember if it was Paris or Richie, but some guy comes up to get a kiss, and she puts her head near his, and she just tilts her head back. She goes, "You smell like onions," and she was 100% 100% not faking it for the camera, not trying to be. I don't think being mean even registers and on her
it doesn't
on her social interaction. She straight up just told this dude he smelled like onions.
Yeah. That was probably a kind way of putting it, but
it's some guy forking over money to get a smooch, and then she just hits you with you smell
like onions. Yeah, with her weird vocal fry and her weird voice.
Yeah, that's what it's like. You smell like onions.
Yeah, and it was this whole, and it kind of created this persona. I think this show, they leaned heavily on this. I think we talked about it on a past show about almost the Valley Girl, but a new age kind of posh Valley Girl thing that these two kind of personified. And it was annoying, and it was all over the place until, I don't know, they weren't friends anymore, and they didn't make the show,
I think that's what happened.
Whatever the deal was. But yeah.
They probably just stopped wanting to kiss guys who smell like onions.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, The Simple Life. How awesome was that? 2003. Speaking of California, another big thing that happened in 2003 in California is the governor came to his essence. That's right. Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected in California following the recall of Governor Gray Davis. So this is kind of a cool story, honestly. The fact that, Schwarzenegger kind of stood up to the plate in this governor recall and said, I could do a better job. He obviously, at the time, was married to Maria Shriver. So I think that political kind of punch in the dick didn't hurt, obviously, to his opponent to have a Kennedy in his corner, but he wooed a lot of people with his charm and his finesse, and he got the governor seat.
Dude, who was what did in that race? Oh no, wait. I'm trying to think now. Was this the one where there was also like the porno star running, or was that after he left
No,
office?
I think you're right. I think you're right because it was a spectacle in 2003. They almost made a joke out of like everybody's coming out of the
Okay.
woodwork to be the governor of California. And I do believe there was an adult film star that ran too. Don't know the name, but obviously that was kind of the thing that was kind of thrown off as tabloid fodder. That's what Gray Davis attacked him with. But you know what? To be honest with you, in hindsight, Schwarzenegger was a pretty decent governor of California. He got a lot done. Um, he was pretty bipartisan. I think he took on the hard work, and I think he's a pretty beloved political figure in California, even to this day.
I was gonna say I don't know what he like signed into law or he oversaw as far as like making change, but how are you gonna in California especially? How are you gonna run against Schwarzenegger and think you're gonna have a chance? Like,
The popularity alone. Yeah, I mean, it's just you're right. Absolutely. I assume that those are absolutely gargantuan shoes to fill, and especially when he's like doubling down on like he's got this tough guy persona on screen. He's going to bring that and whoop politics into shape, and obviously the campaign spoke for itself, and so didn't he. So
I mean, I don't care like what politician is running against him. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. All
yeah,
he has to do is like, you've seen me in movies.
yeah,
Look at this guy.
exactly.
You've seen this guy in nothing. You've seen him destroy your society. Vote for me.
That's all it takes, and you got my vote. I'd have voted for him if I was out there in California.
I would have voted for him.
Absolutely, dude. So yeah, the Governor he came to, and I think he was a double term. I think he did 2 terms.
Dude, he would still be governor if he could. Dude, if he was like born in the United States, he would have run for president by now, and he would have won.
Yeah,
He would have won.
I think he said that actually, and
Yeah.
look at the giant watch on his wrist too. God, he does. I got to give Arnold that. He's one of those guys that I mean, obviously he had a little bit of that. Well, you did kind of sleep with your nanny and have a kid thing a few years back, but besides that hiccup, he's a pretty as he presents himself kind of person. You know what I'm saying? He's who he is
Okay,
unabashedly.
let's forget that I forced myself upon a Honduran immigrant. Let's forget about that. Think about my policy changes.
I hid my son for many years. Okay, this one's a good one. 2003 also brought us this amazing, I guess, issue of Us Magazine where they talked about, I guess, Tara Reid has a botched breast augmentation surgery that made headlines. Apparently, Reid said that when she got the breast augmentation surgery, she asked for big B's, but instead was given C's that she did not want. She said after the surgery, she immediately noticed that her nipples were deformed. But after 6 months of it's going to get better, it started to get worse and worse.
So even in 2003, however far along plastic surgery had come along for like from the 80s, putting in fake boobs in the 80s, because you see 80s fake boobs like mile away, right? So you figure that 2003 they should have improved on the technique. I know she wasn't like A-list, but she must have been making enough money where she could have found a decent plastic surgeon to not give you deformed nipples, bro. Like,
yeah, like
how many?
maybe vet that. I don't know, figure that out before you go. I mean, maybe it came on recommendation, but I mean, you see it there pre-surgery 2004. Then it's saying after surgery, there they are, and then after surgery number 2. So like obviously she's got to go back and correct the mess that's been made.
Listen, all I know is she's saying about deformed nipples, and I'm not seeing any nipples in this. So
No.
I can't. I can only take your word for it, Tara Reid, unless you.
I guess Tara Reid, and then I guess as the years went by, here's an older picture. Oh yeah, those are. I don't know at what point that was. If that was maybe a little after the surgery, those things looking pretty rough. She's looking rough. She's looking like heroin chic in that picture. She's looking.
It doesn't even look like her.
Yeah, she's looking pretty drugged out. But then there's this picture, and I think the boys are back in town, man. I mean, that looks fine. Those look great. They got fixed. You found the wizard surgeon that you needed to bring those back. Some areolas fairly prominent there, not deformed. She looks happy about it.
That there's still
Everybody wins here, Tara.
Still a little too much dress for me. I have to in order for me to really see if those are deformed or not. I'm gonna have to see if sans dress, but I'll take your word for it, Tara. I'll take your word for it.
At least she's happy. We're glad. We're glad that you got the breast that you wanted, Tara. That's all everybody ever wanted. Rounding off Tabloids 2003, another big moment that shocked the world was, of course, the Madonna Britney
Oh
kiss.
yeah. But isn't Christina Aguilera like on the other side of her during the doesn't she the little menage a trois action?
I mean, that's kind of the thing, is that like this was a big moment, and obviously people talked about it. I mean, there's some tongue in there, open mouth. It's pretty salacious, but the reality of it is Madonna just does this. Madonna kisses everybody.
There we go.
She turned around and she freaking kissed Christina Aguilera open mouth. Flash forward, here's some pictures of Madonna just making out with people. Her tongue is all in other people's mouths. Let's keep going here. Let's see. Exhibit C. Looks like she's really taking advantage of Drake in this picture. Just taking it. And that's just kind of what Madonna does. And actually, here's actually a moment captured in time, which is pretty impressive. This is the exact moment that Anderson Cooper became gay. Jesus Christ. I mean, she's kissing Anderson Cooper here. Look at her grabbing him, having her way with him.
And actually that hat is not part of her outfit. Anderson actually was putting that hat on her to make her more of a man as he was turning gay. He brought the prop with
He
him.
had to. It was just, I mean, look at him. I mean, I think she's just going after it. Anything for some shock factor. But I mean, imagine that coming at you, man. Oof, especially nowadays. Madonna is just, this is her trading card, is to just kiss people. It was back in 2003. Nothing's changed besides her face and maybe the rest of her body.
God dang. Dude,
Look at her.
what is dude, so
Oh.
that's the hair is fake. Her chin is fake, her cheek is fake, her lips are fake.
Oh yeah, the
Her
list
skin,
goes
like,
on.
dude,
and
yeah,
on
I'm just
and
like
on.
I remember when she was, well, obviously, Father Time is undefeated. So, as we were lucky enough to age gracefully, but this is like brutal, man. This
It's
is like
awful.
not aging
It's
gracefully.
really
This
bad.
is
Yeah,
brutal.
we thought Tara Reid's breasts were a bad job. Obviously, that guy also branched off and did facial plastic surgery as
Yeah.
well.
Jesus.
Yikes. So there you have it. That's a wrap up of good old Tabloids in 2003. All right, that was a fun jaunt down memory lane.
It's
Yikes.
I for the things that are gossip worthy, right? Like it seems like we've come a long way from having someone just like jumping on a couch or kissing, like two broads kissing. Like, I mean, I wonder
Yeah.
when we get to the tabloids later on here as the epic traverser goes on. I'm interested to see what's going to seem like more of a bigger deal than what
It's
we just
true.
witnessed, because not like pretty tame, like by all things considered, pretty tame,
It is fairly
aside from
vanilla. Yeah.
the
It's
child
very, very
molestation
calm.
Michael Jackson thing. Pretty tame.
Yeah.
Pretty tame.
Yeah. That's always the real wild card there. But alrighty, so we made our way through our second category. Let's take a break and hear from one of our fine sponsors. We'll be back for our third and final category here in 2003 on Anachronology. We'll be right back.
Be right back.